too. Oh, can you grab her? Good morning. Un momento, por favor. Good morning. Good morning. Um, Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. You know, the lights are hurting my eyes, but it's too dark without it. Oh well. We're going to sit in darkness. So I'm going to do a reading for the collective. I just kind of want to do an energy update. It's making me dizzy. It just says there's so many fluctuations in energy that it becomes something that is just confusing. Just full on confusing. Full on. So let's pull some. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This looks about right. This definitely looks about right. So, with the shifts yesterday, many of us are experiencing a breaking away of all the confinement that we're using to keep us really in compliance with what society wants us to do, which is what they want to do. um, and that's kind of breaking away at this point. It's becoming something that many people's souls are no longer able to tolerate, because many of us don't fight it simply because it's easier to tolerate it. And as you reach higher levels of consciousness, what you can tolerate will be shifted. You're not going to be able to tolerate the same things that you once were okay with. Okay. So now that's where we're reaching places of tolerance shifting. So, card number 29, seeing the true you. This is about really allowing your most authentic self to come forward. No more of that trying to play a role, trying to have some sort of image, trying to sell a brand, like a brand, a product. You are so much more than any brand you could possibly create. Card number 63, vulture spirit. Nothing is wasted. So, gosh, for some of us, it feels like the message here is that you're dealing with vultures. If you're going to continue to try to cater to other people's demands of you and your time, a demand of you and your time is far different than asking for help. When you need help, you ask. You ask, and you kind of hope that they're willing or able to help. You're not like, no, you're going to help me. You have to. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. You really, really don't. Even if what you're being asked to do is like for the greater good, or if it's like, a very pure intent, you don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to. And so now we're seeing all the places in which vultures exist within our lives. Okay. These are people who kind of scavenge off of you. They scavenge off your energy. Maybe they scavenge off your opportunities. They create a lot of disharmonic situations that ruin opportunities that you have. I know a specific person who is no longer a part of my life, but that's what they would do. They would like insert all these doubts within my mind. And I could tell they were doing it, but because they're very, very good at playing this role, uh yeah, you can't really believe that they would. I mean, why? What would be the point of that? Well, because they just don't want you to succeed. They don't like that you have vision that they don't have. They covet your opportunities. They covet your potentialities. And I think that's kind of what's going on with the world right now is there's a lot of coveting going on. A lot of failure to do the work that's necessary to get to the next level that then opens up new doors of potentiality. A lot of us just want the easy way. We just want the easy way. We use all these excuses. I did this for quite a few years, like, oh, my genetics predisposes me to being, extra fluffy. Um, yeah, no, I was like 230 pounds for maybe 30, not 30, like 13 years or so. I think that's about how long I was that heavy. And at my height, that's considered morbidly obese, very unhealthy for me. And I used all these excuses as to why. And the fact is, I just didn't want to take care of myself. I was in cycles of self denial, self abuse, self rejection, really. Really. It was my way of insulating myself. And what ends up happening is when you begin doing what you need, what is healthy for you, not what society or a magazine or some sort of celebrity person tells you is necessary. When you begin doing what you can feel is necessary for you, for your health, everything kind of just magically realigns and corrects itself. For me, the weight loss, I removed the foods that I shouldn't be having. Those were the foods that were hurting me. We eat a lot of things that hurt us, and it's not just food that we are consuming, because eating is the act of consumption. We take in a lot of this really distorted um, perception, distorted view of self. And these are based on other people's distorted perceptions that they run through their broken filters. All that matters is you provide the very things that you need. When I was talking to the co-owner of Durango Botanicals, um, he was talking about all his farming stuff, and oh, I totally forgot to comment that and pin it. He was talking about how he didn't go to school for farming, and he's just like completely self-taught, very impressive actually, and how he grows the CBD that I take. Um, that's organic. It's not stamped with certified organic because that costs thousands of dollars. But there are quite a few smaller farms that grow organic things, but they can't stamp it. They want to restrict your access to the things that are the most beneficial for you. Now, what he was sharing that was so profound, um, the reason he's able to grow it organically is because he remedied the soil. When the soil is healthy, from the roots on up, the plant becomes balanced, it becomes healthy, it no longer attracts disease. It was such a fascinating conversation we were having. For him to be able to, like, you know, correlate how frequency, law of attraction, all of these things, we draw disease to us, and then it manifests physiologically. So this is a period where there's so much disease in emotions and thoughts that's being peddled by so many different elevated people. These are people who hold, places of power. Why are they powerful? Because they're a celebrity? Because they've reached a certain level of, why are they powerful? Because we gave them that power. Enough of us recognize this flawed belief that they're somehow above, they're somehow more knowledgeable regarding us and our journey, and now we've put them on a pedestal. Hmm. That's why they're a celebrity. Yeah. And except they're more recognized. Why is that? Because we were told this is who you're going to recognize now. It's not always because they have talent. It's usually because we, as the general whole, are told. We're told what to fear. We're told what to love. We're told what to do on specific days. Holidays, yeah. Like, you can ignore the person you love pretty much all year, but you make up for it on February 14th. You get yourself in a ton of debt on that day. It makes up for the whole year. It makes up for the whole year. I don't celebrate holidays specifically because of that. You're not going to tell me what to do and when. If I want to have a Christmas tree, I'm gonna have that whatever time of the year I want. I want to cut out some hearts. I'm gonna have that whatever time of year I want. Yeah, you're not gonna tell me only on specific days this is what I'm going to do. No, I love on my family 365. That's how many days in a year there is, right? 365. I just had an airhead moment. That's right, right? 365. Don't listen to me. Card number 44, Karma Dakini, the Green Buddha family of the North. Replace envy by focusing on your accomplishments. What have you accomplished for yourself? Maybe part of the reason why you would struggle, if you struggle, part of the reason why you would struggle with envying someone is because they've reached a level within their own development that you kind of want to reach for yourself without doing the work that you're needing to do. And that's just not how it works. It's just not. It's like the equivalent of watching videos of people working out and then being upset that they have a nice figure and you don't, as you sit there and watch them work out. That's not how it works. You have to do the work. People can be brought to you to help guide you in your thoughts, in your actions, the direction you take your life. But unless you do the actual walking, you will make zero progress down that path. Zero. Okay. So let's stop comparing to other people. Let's begin comparing the self we are right now to the self we were recently, the self we were before that, and before that, and before that. The only time I compare, really, to that degree, yeah, is the me that I was before. And before could be indicative of any period in my life because I become a different person every so often. My view changes so dramatically. We got to make that a word, dramatically. Uh, I just become so different in the way I see the world and myself that I'm a different person. I'm a different person. It ripens the most beautiful aspects of me and the parts of me that were still not quite aligned with the truth of me, the truth of the most beautiful parts of me. Those fade away a little bit more. You know, it's not about me intending to become someone else. It's about me releasing the control that I try and have over myself. It's that very control that prevents my most authentic parts to come up. And as authentic as I seem right now, there's still so much beneath the surface that, maybe it's going to take me a few weeks, a few months, a few years to be comfortable enough to allow that to be witnessed. And that's okay. That's okay. I've done enough um, observation of myself to recognize that when I begin these thoughts, and I'm sure many of you can relate, when I begin going through these thoughts, uh-oh, I'm looking for a way to attack myself. And I just tell myself like, no, there's no timeline. There's no deadline for me to achieve specific things. I don't even know if that's something I'm supposed to do. I need to free myself to experience life and my journey in whatever way I can. Whatever way, and it's without trying, just being open for the experiences to occur for me, for the people around me, how we all kind of fit together. Um, Trusting that, if people fall away from me, that it's in the best good for everyone involved, recognizing that regardless of how intelligent I think I am, regardless of how much um, I've allowed my consciousness to expand and evolve based on my perception. I really don't know what creation is planning for me. I really don't know because as I shift and become a new person, my purpose shifts with me. And the way that purpose is experienced and expressed is also shifted. So we are such a dynamic energy, totally, totally dynamic. We are simple in our complexity and complex in the simplicity. It's about that duality coming together and becoming its rightful totality. I can be ridiculously intelligent and ridiculously like space cadet. Really, is it 365 days? Fuck, I gotta check. 365 days a year. Yes. Y'all, how does one forget that? I don't know. All right. Card number 14, going beyond normal. We have to go beyond just holding things together willy nilly. Okay. We have to understand what our purpose is. What are we holding together and why? Your relationships, your friendships, your work partnerships, um, your living situation, whatever it is, what are you holding together and why? Why do you feel you have to hold it together? Are you trying to control the circumstance? Are you trying to save something? For example, a marriage. You can't save a marriage. Either you're both committed to walking together or you're not. I mean, that's how I see it. Um, we're either both committed to this or we're not. And if we're both not committed, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I can try my best to try and carry you, but that would be under this guise of saving you. And in reality, I'm trying to turn you into something I probably want to be. And I'm too afraid to be that. Like, um, God, I never saved a boyfriend. I was just like, yeah, no, this is not working. I'm out. Bye. Don't call me anymore. Yeah, do y'all know what I'm talking about? I can't give you an example. I don't feel like I've tried to do that for anyone. I don't know, maybe I'm just not honest with myself. Um it's this concept of like trying to turn someone into this potential person that you see their potential and you're trying to make them that, but they don't want to be that. Oh, I know, I have an example. It's not me though. My parents groomed me to be a doctor. Ah, they did, and then as I began to internalize that hey, this is what you're going to be, I then solidified, oh, I want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. Yay! I also want to be an ER doctor. Yay! I also want to do neurology. Yay! And then I was like, do I really want to do all that? I mean, I really like medical stuff, but is that my calling? Or is that simply a component of me that I need to develop in order to better fulfill what my calling is? Because I think it's the latter. I definitely feel like it's the latter, where whatever we think we're supposed to be and we go through the motions and then we wake up one day and we're like, I'm not that. I'm not supposed to be that. What the fuck? You didn't waste your time. You didn't. There were connections that needed to be made. There were experiences, there were lessons, all of that. You're always at the right place at the right time in your life. Always. Always. You don't actually make mistakes. Mistakes are this concept that help to perpetuate this belief that you're flawed and broken and wrong. Your soul guides you wherever you need to be, good and bad. It guides you to the places that can help you experience the positive as well as the negative lessons. And it's really up to you and how you will receive that. All of this shifting that's going on, it's a proper shifting. This shift was never meant to be a gentle sway. There would be some gentle swaying involved as we accumulate enough kinetic energy. And in that movement, we are charging ourselves to bust through the walls. We came in like a wrecking ball. We came in like a wrecking ball. Okay. So now, card number 36, Padampa Sangi, the cremation ground dwelling master. What the fuck? Be courageous. Anything life gives can be an inspiration, including the ugliest parts. Including the ugliest parts. For people who experience really ugly things, if you're experiencing something ugly right now, something difficult, something that is very difficult for you to talk about or share, just know there's always a silver lining to it. There's something in that experience that is seeking to ripen you if you allow it. Eventually it does. It might not happen while you're in the middle of that situation. It might be afterwards. It might be years later, but eventually it happens when you allow it, when you get out of your own way. Sandpiper spirit, be playful. Don't take life too seriously. Don't take the behaviors of vultures too seriously. You have to find that middle ground of caring and not being bothered. It's a very, very fine line that's walked when you could care, but you also don't allow yourself to be bothered by the nonsensical things that other people try and enforce. Um, Grasshopper spirit, take a leap of faith. Ooh, okay. So things are majorly shifting. I just got dizzy. So what I'm getting is that that leap of faith is going to take us, if we can't tear down the wall, there are those of us who will jump over it. Okay? That wall of limitation, disbelief, separation, like all of that, competition. Life's about to change. Really, really, really change. Um, these changes, you have to be careful in how you process them. Not because I feel like you're in danger, but I feel as though there's a very high likelihood, a high potentiality that you might be triggered. Okay. This triggering causing fear based actions. Um, just kind of an attempt to get you to how would I word this, an attempt to get you to be mindful of the decisions you make. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, don't just jump to conclusions, act on that, assumption, and then later regret it. Okay. um hmm, yeah, it seems like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have heard of technology that uses sound frequency that's not really audible to the human ear. It's kind of beyond the range that we're able to hear, but it affects your perception. It has a tendency to penetrate the cranial cavity. I knocked on my brain. It has a tendency to penetrate the cranial cavity and overstimulate the limbic as well as parasympathetic systems. They are triggering your amygdala. The amygdala, once it's overstimulated, you become aggressive. You either become overly aggressive, easily irritated. Sometimes it can even like make you feel jittery. Once that's overstimulated, you can definitely expect people to be eager to fight, eager to argue, eager to physically, physical altercations, things like that. Don't buy into it. Okay. Don't buy into that. I'm not talking about narcissistic exposure. I'm talking about technology. I'm talking about frequency. I believe they're called ELF waves, ELF waves. They've been used. A lot of conspiracy folks have read about that stuff for years on end. I'm talking about actual technology. Card number 34, Garuda, protector from the serpent race. Mm. Raise your eyes while bird in flight to connect to the divine. Ooh, 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 ooh. So, whatever your spiritual guides are doing, they're kind of like hovering above and watching over you. Okay. They are watching over you. You're not the things you experience. You feel like you're alone. It seems like you're alone, but you're really, really not. You're really, really not. And it's time for you to really allow, okay? Really, really allow your processes to occur. I'm not talking about allow people to abuse you. I'm talking about allow the process within you that is triggered by someone else's malicious intent. We're not looking for people with malicious intent, but when one crosses our path, there's a purpose here. What is my soul trying to teach me? What is it trying to teach me? What experience am I supposed to have here that's going to grow me to a higher level of being? Lizard spirit, dream the world into being. That's interesting. That's interesting. Lizard spirit, dream the world into being. I'm okay. So it kind of taps into like reptilians and draconian agendas. Um, I mean, because that's what's going on with the world right now. Um, reptilian and draconian stuff. Reptilians answer to the draconians. They're kind of like the henchmen of draconians, and the reptilians control the zetas, the small grays that do all the probing. Do all the probing. Um, yeah. So it began with two towers. Where are you taking this conversation? I don't want to go into that type of conversation. So, what I heard was it began with two towers. And for those that need to know, you already have an understanding of where that conversation is heading. Card number 38, restore and replenish. I wouldn't be surprised if many of us at this point feel this way. Okay. Very naked, overly exposed, curled up into a ball. That's okay. You stay in that ball until you're ready to stretch out. Just know the longer you stay curled up in that ball, the more likely that your muscles would become sore. You'll feel weaker, you'll feel cold and exposed. But you have a right to stay in that ball for however long you feel is necessary. Okay? Necessary and what you want are sometimes two different things. So stay in that ball for as long as you feel necessary. Know that the messages your soul is bringing you is being accumulated around you. Know that there are so many layers and levels of growth, new growth. You won't have to hold things together anymore. Like the buttons are all on the outside. The key is in holding it together within yourself until you recognize how far you've come in your process. So I'm going to pull one final card. Before connection is unstable. Okay. I'm going to get you guys some roomy before I got to go because brother's nurse should be arriving any minute to change his dressings. His dressings. By the way, you guys, thank you so much. He's received so much outpouring of love and support. He's just really, really floored by how supported he is. You know, it's hard um, when empaths have to allow themselves to be vulnerable like that. It's hard. It's a hard process, and you guys are helping him learn through this that there are people who care. There really, really are. Here we go. Here we go. Resplendent with grace, card number 24. Greetings from my heart to you who are always with me inside as the heart. You are the compass of my life. My course is your way, no matter where I go. You exist everywhere and in everything, always watching over us. My soul brightens in the darkness when I speak your name. Far beyond the body, there's an opening from my heart into yours. Through that opening, I send you secret messages like the moonlight. I polish the mirror of my heart to be your reflection. I make my ear the receiver for the tenderness of your words. You are in the ear. You are in the mind. You are in every burning heart. What am I saying? You are I. This is my way to describe you. Your divine grace clothes me in robes of sky blue and blood red. As a shimmering galaxy of compassion within the field of which no being is excluded, the darkness of night is illuminated and all creatures are bathed in the fine golden hue of your presence. There is only beauty beheld now, for there is nothing that is not of your artistry, of your divine hand, generous with its grace. Is it difficult to see your magnificence? Without a mirror the size of a galaxy, how could you possibly witness all that you are? You must just catch glimpses of your truth now and then. If you could see yourself as I see you in all your glorious fullness of being, you are clothed in robes of grace, so light and freeing that they do not weigh you down, and yet so luscious and full that you cannot help but stir the movement of all of creation as you step this way and that. Of course, it matters not to grace whether you see or do not see, for grace simply is without witnessing being required. Yet you might live rather differently should you realize you're not only worthy of grace, but actually dripping with it, saturated with divine presence, so rich it leaks out of you and causes sunlight to pool at your holy feet. Oh, yes, you are resplendent in holiness and sanctity. Should you come to know this as I do, you would take each step with awe and reverence. You would decide that not a thing in your world could be classed as mundane, and decide with bold fervor that you are living in godliness and must create your world through choices that honor love. No fear, even the most stubbornly persistent, would be able to withstand the sight of your magnificent beating heart, so wild with life. In the sight of that wild heart, you would have to call all your fears close to you, soothing them with your words of love like riled children in need of tenderness and quiet. Then, when rested, you would wake them from their slumber, and they would arise as falcons, ready to soar to the height of your most daring visions. Hunting for life to feed them, they will ensure the ample grace pulsing within your heart has its chance to come to life in the world and serve love. This oracle comes to you with a message. You may be wondering if you can attain this next stage of growth in your life. You are already well equipped to do so, no matter what you might believe about the situation, circumstance, or others involved, even yourself. You have within your soul possession more than enough grace to see you through anything. You are bold enough to envision for yourself or for any vision you feel like life has bestowed upon you. So pray through unconditional love to access all that you are, to be supported by those beings that love you without condition. Pray to realize that you are so drenched in sacred grace that the well of your being is full. All that's needed to nurture you onto the next step of your life path is within you now. Success is yours, but you must believe in your ability, your readiness, and your capacity to take this next step of the journey now. How could it be otherwise? For you are one with grace. So, there, you are one with grace, whether you believe it or not. It drips from you and pools at your feet like liquid sunlight. You have everything you need in this life. And just because you can appreciate specific moments that hurt does not negate the fact that it is those very moments that are teaching you the most about yourself, that are teaching you the most about the people who you allow to remain by your side. We have to begin choosing who that is. 33 minutes and 33 seconds. 58, 858. Ain't that some shit? I like it. So choose, what do you want in life? What is your goal? What are you trying to learn? What type of connections are you trying to build? Whatever it is, whatever it is, allow your soul to deliver you from it. No one else can save you from yourself. And maybe if you begin to reconnect with your own soul, you'll begin to realize there's nothing needing to be saved from. The truth is, the moment that circumstance no longer suits your learning, you are removed from it. You have a friend who's not really a friend, someone who's using you, treating you badly, bad mouthing you when you're not there. And then something happens and they're taken away. They're no longer your friend. And instead of being grateful that creation has saved you from your own decisions, your lack of ability to love yourself enough to decide things for your benefit, instead, we look at the negative and we think to ourselves, everyone just leaves us. Like they don't want to be my friend anymore. Well, they were never your friend, though. that was transactional and they've run out of cash. Yeah. Let that really sink in. Allow the people who shouldn't be around to fade away and cherish the ones who are supposed to be there. Don't wait for people to text you. If they come into your mind, you miss them, message them. If you're waiting for someone to text you because you're constantly the one texting and they don't text you, that's a hard pill to swallow. Maybe you're not as high on their list as they are on yours. And this is not being said to hurt you. This is being said to trigger your remembrance of your actual worth. You deserve reciprocity. You deserve reciprocal reflection of that love you so freely give. It's this very logic where I'm like, oh, okay, this person really mean a lot to me. I haven't messaged in a while, going through my own crazy shit. I need to kind of exit from my own crazy shit for a few minutes and check in. I don't do this with many people. I really, really don't. But for that very, very small group, yeah, I'm going to go past my discomfort and my fear that maybe I'm going to be bothering you and you might find me annoying. I'm going to push past that. And I'm just, hey, just wanted to let you know I miss you. I will now go back into my shell and be quiet again. You have to stop really playing into these games that society teaches us to play, where you have to wait X amount of hours or days before you can message someone back because you don't want to look desperate. Well, the fact that you're thinking that tells me that you really are already in a desperate state within yourself. Love yourself enough to exit that. All of this shifting that's occurring in the world right now is taking us very beautifully and yet so painfully to a place where we are now going to recognize the ways in which we have been constructing our own mental and emotional prisons, these walls that we've erected to keep us safe. Not only do they keep things out, they also confine you inside. And some people are worth the hurt because you'll never live a life completely devoid of pain. There will be those who will be worth hurting for and hurting with. And these are not the people who are malicious in their intent. That pain comes from your assumptions, your expectations, and that leads to disappointment when what you assume and what you expect is not in alignment with the truth of the circumstance or connection. You hurt yourself. And maybe it's time we begin seeing these things. This is a very common thing. Pretty much all of us do this. I don't care how advanced you think you are. I don't care how smart you think you are. I don't care how big your following is. I'm pretty sure at some point you've done this, and at some point you will do it again. It's a part of the human consciousness. It really, really is. And so now we have to recognize how we are going to reconcile the difference between the self and the soul. Allow them to come to a center point so they can walk hand in hand down the path. Two chopsticks are stronger than one. That's what I heard Michael say. What does that mean? Like, so you can snap one chopstick by itself really easily, right? But when you put them together, it's a lot harder to snap it. And when you put more together, it's even harder and even harder and even harder. The more you add on, the more fortified you become. So allow people to love you. Just allow them to love you with no expectations as to how long they'll be there, the ways in which their love will be manifested or expressed. Just allow yourself to be loved. That's a good place to stop today. So if you guys could please give this video a thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate that. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell, join me when I'm live. And if you guys could please continue to share the GoFundMe campaign. If you missed it last night, I'm kind of relieved because I didn't want to do that live stream. But if you did miss it last night, I was talking about a very urgent call to action regarding my brother, his health, and his safety. I'm trying to reestablish his GoFundMe again so that we can generate enough funds to get him into a home for at least a year closer to the heart failure clinic. Whatever you can help with, whatever monetary amount, we so appreciate you. And if you can't, simply sharing it out, we appreciate that as much as any monetary amount. Just really getting the word out there, and hopefully it'll come across someone's path who has the ability to help me figure out how to advocate for him more efficiently and get him into a much better space where he can really begin healing and kind of just have some stillness. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for sharing space with me. Oh, don't make me cry, Michael. He's reminding me, thank you for being the hands that hold me when I'm at my most fragile. Thank you.